Man, you're kind of scaring me, bro. Kind of scaring me. You kind of feel doomsday right now, man. I don't generally like my friends to be that way, but you got to tell me why. So what's the deal, man?
Dude, so right now the market is just like, there's just so much shit going on macro-wise and stuff, like all the stuff going on in Russia. The U.S. essentially is about to increase the fucking federal fund rate today. Yeah, today. They're meeting up today. They're going to lay down the verdict tomorrow morning, and then markets are going to go down. So they're going to increase the federal fund rate by 100 basis points, which is 1%.
1%, yeah. So, and bro, and people think 1% is not big. Dude, that's a big fucking deal. Dude, like, explain what that means in like real world terms. You know, a whole point.
So basically, all right, right off the bat, right? This affects basically the borrowing and lending of money across the world. So anytime the Federal Reserve increases it by 1%, that means it isn't like it's 1% more expensive on your loan. That's just the cost for the banks get. They put a VIG on top of that.
Exactly. It's always the Fed plus.
Right.
So like my banker called me this morning and I missed it. I probably should call him back, but he was probably calling to tell me, as we both know, the Fed will pull that lever to reduce the heat of spending.
Right.
So do you think that's going to work though?
I mean, the reason they're really doing it is like basically they're trying to do wealth destruction right now. So what they're worried about is that the CPI. Okay, so last month the CPI numbers were we had an inflation rate of about 8.6%.
Right.
The numbers came out a couple of days ago, 9.1.
Right.
They increased the rates and the inflation still went up. Because what's going on right now is we're having a shit ton of baby boomers retiring right now. And when they're retiring, what they're doing is like, holy crap, I need cash. They start taking money out of their houses.
Right.
So right now what's going on is that the baby boomers are like, holy crap, they're raising the rates right now. It means I'm going to get less money when I pull it out or have to pay more of it back. So they're just rushing to banks everywhere, just trying to get, remortgaging the house, taking the equity out, lines of credit and stuff, and they're getting tons of cash out.
Like HELOCs against their house.
Yeah.
Home equity lines of credit. It's called a HELOC.
Right.
Yeah. And
because when rates go up, every 50 basis points that the Fed increases, every 25 basis points, you can buy $50,000 less of a house on average for the average American. If you're rich, of course, you can afford to pay more on the stuff.
Yeah, you can put more money down.
Correct.
But banks use formulas.
Right.
What they call debt to income ratio.
Yep.
And most of the time for a bank to loan you money on a house particularly, not a commercial property, but a house, they want you to have what they call a 1.25 debt to income ratio, which basically says that like about 25% of their income is going to go towards this house. Yeah. Now on a commercial property, they don't look at you personally so much. They look at the property itself. That's why they have a net operating income, to look at what the property would perform at, regardless of the money down or the kind of debt you can get.
Right.
So in this scenario, the baby boomers are scared and they're taking action in this way, and you think it's affecting things in a larger way.
It's affecting everything. I mean, like the other day they were saying that like it was the millennials' fault why we have inflation. That's not the case at all. It's because we've just hit the biggest hump now. We're in 2022 and we have just about the average boomer being 65 years old.
Right.
This year. That's the big structural difference that's going on right now in the world, is that we have demographically, we have baby boomers all retiring. Any baby boomer who has money has a 401k. Guess what they're not doing? They're starting to retire now, not work. They're not putting money into the system anymore.
And even if they did retire, whatever they would be getting back is worth less and less and less every day, which would make them or force them to go back into the workplace, because the money that they're receiving is not going to cover the groceries anymore.
Right.
If they have their house paid off. If they're not in a fucking apartment where the rates go up. We got a message the other day that we could buy this particular place for right at $1 million.
Right.
And dude, I'd say this thing's 1,400 square feet, this apartment.
Really?
Yeah. And I think that if we stay, the rents are at least going to go up $300 to $500.
Yeah.
So if you're 65 and you're expecting to get this certain amount of money out and you're expecting to live this certain kind of life and everything's going through the roof, because I think we all agree.
Yeah.
I was talking to George Gammon about this at Rebel Capitalist.
Yep.
Yeah, it says 8, it says 9, but it's really double that.
Right. Yep.
So you can look at the CPI and they can tell you what it is, but really in a lot of ways it's more. Can you speak to that at all?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're right now the CPI is 9.1, right? And basically with the consumer price index, right? All it is basically milk, eggs, maybe car insurance.
Right.
What's the average car payment in America?
The
what's
basics.
The basics,
Right.
which they manipulate and control.
Right.
Do you want to know some big horse shit that just happened like last week? No, wait. I'm sorry. Yesterday, the White House. Peep this, all right? So in order to be in a recession, you have to have 2 consecutive quarters where you're negative GDP growth.
Yeah.
You know what? I put this on my YouTube channel the other day on my community post that the White House said just because that's what the economist said is technically makes us in a recession doesn't mean we're actually in a recession. They're trying to finagle their way out of not getting into a recession because basically the Democrats.
It's an election year.
It's an election year. Yeah. So you know, yeah.
November's coming.
And it's a red sweep. It's a red sweep.
Yeah.
They're scared right now. Yeah.
So hey, and that's a good reason for a war. That's a good reason to look the other way.
Right.
So what is it that's actually making that number that they're